What is up, guys? This is Cameron White with White Light Astrology going into your monthly forecast for Gemini. It is January 2018. We are in the new year. It is happening. We're finally here. Saturn's in Capricorn. He is going through your 8th house. Yeah, he's going through your 8th house. He just left your 7th house. Jupiter is now in your 6th house as well. And we got a couple more things going on this month. But let's make our way from the back moving forward. I want to talk about Uranus going direct. Uranus is the only planet that's retrograde right now. Well, he will be here in January, and then he goes direct on the 3rd. Uranus going direct is going to take his qualities and kind of move them from the inside of you to the outside, rather than experiencing this subjectively and internalizing it and kind of going through the process of it on your own. This is going to be made manifest on the outside, and that kind of like stems, I shouldn't say stems from, but that whole Uranus and Aries aspect of, us bringing ourselves up or bringing ourselves down, wanting to innovate ourselves, wanting to do something invigorating, something exciting, something that will liberate us from whatever it is that we need to get away from. This is an Aries. We have this sense of, okay, I need to do something with my life. I need to be a certain way in a certain aspect, and this is happening in your 11th house, Gemini, where we're looking at how do you show up in friends? How do you show up in social groups? How do you show up with groups of friends, with networking, with how you give back to the community in your creative ways, and your art, your sense of uniqueness, and how you can kind of be with people. And as Uranus goes not retrograde, as he goes direct, you're going to see a lot of this energy that you've built up with the past couple months as Uranus has been retrograde. You've been kind of internalizing this feeling, going, where do you show up in friendships? Where do you show up? Like, what kind of friendships do you have? What is your role? Where are you putting yourself? And this could be, extreme highs and lows, especially for the past 7 years as Uranus has been in Aries. But as he goes direct, we're going to see a lot more forward movement with this. It's not going to be so much internalized. So I feel like, a lot of the weird energy around Gemini right now is going to feel that Uranus go direct. So I think that's going to be really good. But after he goes direct, all planets are direct after that until, I don't even remember when the next planet goes retrograde. I think, I don't even know. In a while, though. But all planets are direct for a little while. So now let's talk about Saturn being in your 8th house. So Saturn just left your 7th. Everything that you've had to learn about relationships, where you've had to learn how to work with other people, discovering and understanding more parts of you by believing in other people, by investing in other people. The Saturn in Sagittarius really showed you, the whole truth, or what you really believe about relationships, and what you really believe about other people, and what you believe about yourself, and how you show up, or how you, take people on, how you work with people, how you travel with people. Saturn going over your descendant in your 7th house just really shows you a lot of how you show up with other people. You as a Gemini, if we're using the solar house thing that I'm kind of using, with the Gemini being that ruler of the ascendant, that pinpoint of where your energy is, the exact opposite of it being Sag. It's like Gemini wants to do this and Sag wants to go up. You have to, you know a lot about yourself of your immediate surroundings, and you ask the right questions. But when you deal with Sag energy, it's the opposite. Well, it's like, what does that mean to you? What do you believe about that? It's rather than asking the questions objectively, it's searching for the truth subjectively. And so you've probably learned a lot over relationships. However, Saturn is now in your 8th house in Capricorn. This is where you got to get, serious about the changes that you're looking for. As Saturn goes through your 8th house, you're going to discover a lot of emotions that maybe you felt have been coming up. This is dealing with transformation. This is dealing with other people. This is dealing with the way that we really process and handle emotions. This is dealing with the extremes of emotions. This is dealing with, death. This is dealing with sex. This is dealing with where our truest emotions are tied to, what really is deep for us, what really is truth for us. And as Saturn goes through Capricorn into this part of your chart, you're going to be experiencing a lot of the cold, sober realities of what truth is for you. It's not going to be this questionable thing where you're kind of like, being Gemini about it, kind of being avoidant or confused about it or anything like that. It's, stone cold sober. It's stone cold reality right in front of you. And it's going to be a little hardcore, but this is for you to grow and this is for you to build. Look at it as this one aspect in your life that you know is concrete and that you know is, stable, and that you know is there and it's not going to move, it's not going to change. Saturn in Capricorn is really going to show you how you can discipline and strengthen yourself by looking at that reality, by looking at what that truth is within inside of yourself, of what it is that you do want to create, what it is that you do want to have. Anything regarding, that Capricorn energy of any sort of a system or any sort of the way that you structure your life or any sort of the way that you want to create things in your life, you're going to see a lot of the ways that you can really discipline and learn some lessons about going through what you're going to go through for the next 3 years and how you can really start to create the results that you're kind of looking for. As Saturn goes through this part of your chart, the biggest thing is remember, like you already know. Saturn is in the sign of Capricorn, of reality. You already know everything that he's going to be teaching you. It's going to be in your 8th house, so this is going to be sensitive. This is going to require a lot of purging out of old, past negative behaviors and thought and beliefs that don't really serve you anymore. However, keep that in mind. 3-year transit. It's going to be okay. But we have Jupiter and Scorpio going through your 6th house right now, where with Jupiter being right there going through here the whole rest of the year, this is really about, the beliefs and that same energy around the desires about what you want as far as your health, as far as your habits. Like, what are you trying to create every single day? You have this, you try to get into a system, and sometimes you're like, I can't get into the system right, or maybe you just fuck it, do whatever system I kind of want to, depending on what your mood is, really. But having that Jupiter in the 6th house is going to show you, what kind of beliefs you need to really have to create the habits and create the behaviors that you really want to create those results that you're kind of looking for. And the biggest thing is Mars is going through this part of your chart. He will be going through the 6th house and then entering your 7th house as he goes from Scorpio to Sag. And as he's in Scorpio conjuncting Jupiter, you're going to start to see yourself go, okay, how can I start to take action on this? Where do I need to cut out the bullshit in my life? Where do I need to actually get clear? Where do I actually need to be focusing on? Where is my heart's desire? Jupiter and Scorpio right here, it's like, man, you're just trying to fix everything right now. You're hell-bent on creating, these habits and doing everything right that you need to and fixing everything and healing yourself and blah, 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 blah. But as Mars conjuncts Jupiter, you're going to start to see that depending on your energy level is whether or not you really believe that you can do that. So really focus on if you don't believe that you can get to that point that you want to, channel that Jupiter energy of going back down to your truest desires, going back down to your truth and what it is that you really want, what it is that gives you the motivation and the inspiration to move forward even though you could be at the lowest part of life. That's that Jupiter and Scorpio. You got to find that inspiration there, and that's all found within your desires and your personal truth and getting tapped in. But Mars conjuncting Jupiter is that you'll start to see your action and your actions and your energy based around your beliefs. So if you're killing it, congratulations, man. You're in alignment, and that's gonna help you flow with this month. But if you're not seeing that, if you're not having that energy and you're having this resistance and you're wanting this control over it, you're gonna find yourself having a kind of a hard issue. So be wary of that. Mars is going to be going into Sagittarius after that. All about relationships, all about how you work with other people. Where are you going to be taking action on relationships? Where are you going to be taking action on anything dealing with not only relationships, but not necessarily law, but just more of like the contracts. What are you trying to do? What are you trying to tidy up? What needs more order? What needs more balance? What needs more discipline? Take action on that. And with this being in Sagittarius, it is going to be opposing your sun, so you may have to do things differently than you might originally thought you had to do them. However, with Mars and Sag, I think you're going to have fun with it. It's kind of like jumping onto a horse, a wild horse, and it just takes off. Or if you ride motorcycles, if you ever whiskey throttle it, that's what it's going to feel like. Don't crash, don't overthink it, just flow with as Mars goes into that part of your chart. It is going to be big for relationships. It is going to be big with where it is that you're really taking yourself. And as we have this Mars and Sun opposition with you guys later on in February, you're really going to be taking a good look at that. But moving forward, Venus is in Capricorn, going through your 8th house. This is, again, like, you really got it. How bad do you want it? How bad do you want the change? What are you willing to do to get there? Are you willing to love yourself more? Are you willing to detach from the confused part of you that doesn't make any sense? Are you willing to look at this realistically and be able to walk through this knowing that you're going to come out even greater through the other side? That's that Venus and Capricorn energy for you. It's a little intense. It really is a little bit intense. However, as Venus goes through Capricorn, get grounded, get rigid, get focused on what it is that you need to really put yourself in, like, find what your real values are, find what your truest wants are. And this is in Capricorn. Like, let's look at this through a realistic sense. Don't put this, Geminis can just create all these crazy stories. They're such good communicators. However, don't create this elaborate story on what it is that you're really looking for, what you desire. Look for what's realistic right now. What are your basic needs to make things efficient, to make things run well, and how is that going to make you happy? Because that's what you kind of want right now with Venus going into Capricorn and this going through this part of your chart. It's like, hey, I'm not sure what I want. You're going through a bunch of shit, but at this moment, I gotta at least get these, few things figured out. And as long as these are efficient and good, everything else will come as well. So keep that in mind. Then Venus will go into Aquarius. This is going into your 9th house, where you're going to start to open up and really feel the dynamic behind putting in your heart's desire and your value and your wants and what really excites you out into the world, out with other people. This is when you'll start to be able to socialize more and have more fun with it, getting connected with people. Don't isolate yourself or alienate yourself. Venus will be right here. This is the time to put yourself out there, have fun, socialize, really look at what your beliefs are around other people too. What do you really believe about how you show up in friendships and how you show up with people? Are you spiritually inclined to go do that? Are you connected to that? Is this where your passion is, especially with who you're hanging around with? And whatever it is that you create with Venus and Capricorn, are you going to take action on your creativeness? Are you going to take action on, your beliefs around what you think you can create, what you're capable of, something higher than you think, because Capricorn can seem like a limit when really it's just another base, it's just another ground. So after we go through this Capricorn energy, are you willing to take the next step up with whatever it is that you have? So if Venus is in Aquarius, are you ready to vibrate higher at that frequency of, being loving unconditionally, loving yourself unconditionally, really exploring your beliefs around that? Because again, this is happening in your 9th house. This is about what do you believe about that. Venus in Aquarius is kind of like, oh, we're out here, I love so many different things. I am so encaptured by everything, and nothing makes sense, but it's so creative and it's so fun, and you're going to experience all of that, but you got to go back down to what does this mean to you? Go travel. You're probably going to go travel when Venus goes into Aquarius. Go figure out something, Go understand it for yourself. Go out there, and you'll definitely get that going, and it's going to be great as Venus goes through Aquarius, because it'll be trining your sun. Mercury just got a retrograde for you through your 7th house, flying forward. We'll be going through Capricorn after you leave Sagittarius, so the Mercury retrograde is probably brutal for you. But, I think you learned your lesson. I think you've kind of seen Geminis just kind of I feel like things just kind of got a little bit too built up for them with all that Saturn and Mercury and Venus energy going through Sagittarius. But as Mercury flies forward, you kind of understand what you're really looking at here. You're starting to really see the whole potential and the whole everything about it, and all of what's happened since Mercury went retrograde at 29 degrees through 13 degrees. All of that's going to come up again next year around this time, around December time. During, I shouldn't say next year, it'll be for 2018, December 2018, when Mercury goes retrograde in Sagittarius again. But he flies through Capricorn, not flies through Capricorn, he goes through Capricorn. When he hits Capricorn, this is going into your 8th house, again going into everything that I talked about with Capricorn energy. We're really starting to think about that now, going, oh shit, things are a little bit deeper than I thought they were. After Sagittarius, it's like, man, things are just so crazy, so far out there, there's so many possibilities, who even knows, and you can go towards that. But once you go towards that, the reality of, oh shit, this is deeper than I thought, kind of hits you. And as Mercury goes through here, this is the time to, take a look at it, take a look. It's kind of like a cop. Imagine being a CSI investigator at a bloody murder scene. Like, you can't just leap over the dead bodies. You gotta go, well, this guy's dead, click a picture, put a little number right there, do whatever you gotta do. And this is the time to really process, what do you want to create? What do you want to think about all of this? What is the reality about these emotions that you experience? Like, imagine you're this cop, you're walking through all these dead bodies, you can get emotional, but that's not going to work. You're there to do your job. And, that job, you can have a lot of emotional empathy for those people that are dead, and you want to find and give them justice and find the murderer and stuff like that. That's the kind of the Mercury and Capricorn in your 8th house type of deal. So really channel, like, hey, I'm about to go through some shit right now. What's going to be the best thing that's going to work for me? What is really going to get me on my feet? What is really going to get things going again and really put me at the spot that is going to shine the brightest. And Mercury will then leave Capricorn, go into Aquarius on February 1st, and then it's going to be like a big breath of fresh air. So don't even worry about that. Just really, honestly, just pound through January. You guys got this. We have a full moon in Cancer, new moon in Capricorn. This new moon in Capricorn, or actually the full moon in Cancer is happening first. The full moon in Cancer is happening in your second house. This is, again, dude, what are your needs are? What emotionally, where do you need to support yourself? Where do you need some stability? Where do you need nurturing? And how can you nurture yourself through your environment, through where you live, through material things that are going to give you some comfort and that are going to make you feel grounded? And this is kind of an emotional deal for you with this all happening in Cancer. So just keep in mind, what are your needs? Where do you need to support yourself? Where do you need to give yourself some more grounded, more stable energy in your life? And you could feel a little bit insecure, but this is the time to give yourself nurturing. Give yourself some self-love, because as we have this new moon in Capricorn for you guys, this is going to be a pretty big transformation. This is going to be like, all right, you guys are starting to do some work now, so it's not going to be like Saturn and Sag, where it's opposing you and it's feeling like, the spotlight's on you or anything. But Saturn and Capricorn, it's time to work. It's time to, nut up or shut up, basically. So that's what I got for you guys. January's looking okay. Just push through it. Y'all got it. Aquarius season, once we get into February and the later part of January, when, the sun goes through Aquarius, that's when things are going to feel a lot lighter, a lot better. And then, then after Aquarius will be your birthday soon enough. So don't even worry about it. That's what I got for you guys. Thank you guys so much for liking and watching all my videos. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, whatever it is that you feel like doing with that link. I appreciate it either way. So thank you guys so much. I'll be seeing you next month.